What would happen if Batman died? What happened to the Caped Crusader? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is not your normal Batman story. This one was written by Neil Gaiman, and it was introduced as a story of, what if Batman died? It was intended to be the end of an era for Batman, his move from the Silver Age to the modern age. It's trippy, but enjoyable. And as I've said before, not every comic needs punching, even a Batman one. Where am I? Batman asks as a ghostly voice looking over everything. You hear in Gotham. Am I dreaming? No, you aren't dreaming. This is Gotham. I know it's Gotham, but it's strange. Down the alley races a car with a cat on the front of it. The woman inside parks in front of a rundown bar, and the man at the front door offers to watch her car for her. But as Selina Kyle gets out, she tells him that she doesn't need his help. The cats will watch it for her. She walks inside and she sees a man behind the counter and no one else. This man is Joe Chill. Selina asks if he'll be joining them, and he tells her that someone has to stay out front and direct people to the back. As she goes to the door in the back of the bar, she turns to Joe. I thought I heard you were dead. I was here at the start of all of it, Miss Kyle. I'm not going to miss the end. That man is Joe Chill. Shh. But she's right, he's dead. Selina walks into a room lined with chairs and a coffin in the back of it, and Alfred welcomes her to the wake. She steps up to the coffin, and inside of it, we see the Dark Knight himself. The voice that we've been hearing over everything then recognizes himself. But that's me. One by one, the guests arrive. First Two-Face, then Jim and Barbara Gordon, and even Riddler and Joker arrive. More and more of them show up, Mad Hatter, Harley Quinn, the Penguin, and even Dick Grayson. And once the room is full, Selina steps up to inform the crowd how Batman died. She explained that she had been there since the beginning. On her first jewel theft, Batman stopped her and she clawed at his face to get free. Thus, their love story began. One where she was the crook and he was the hero. But he would always let her go. Eventually, Selina asked Batman to stop being Batman and to run away with her, to be normal. They could even get married, but he didn't take her up on that offer though. So she tried it his way. She tried to be the vigilante. But Batman told her that she couldn't do that. She shouldn't be giving out her own brand of justice. She called him out, asking why he could and she couldn't, and he told her that it was wrong. So she left the life behind, and she didn't see him for a very long time. She bought a pet store and she named it Kyle's Quality Cats and Kittens. Everything was normal until one night, Batman stumbled to her store bleeding badly. Selina took him inside and she tied him down. She wanted him to bleed out, because she loved him, and that's why she let him die. That's how the Caped Crusader died. Then in tears, Selina walked away after telling her story. Batman's ghostly voice didn't remember that. It's so familiar, but that was Robin Hood's death, not mine. No, it was your death, or at least Batman's. Alfred. That's Alfred, Batman says as Alfred takes center stage in front of the coffin. Alfred wanted to explain how Batman died. He explained that he was in an acting troupe when he got a letter from his father, that it was time to come and do the family business. It was time to look after the Waynes. He was there when Thomas and Martha were killed, and he watched as Bruce sheltered himself. Then things began to change as he started training for something. A few years passed and Bruce rode out as a masked vigilante, and it was Alfred that found him injured and patched up his wounds. And after that, Bruce started to dress as a bat, and he started to try and fight crime. During all of this, he smiled sometimes, but mostly he didn't. Sure, he went out and found criminals and he stopped them sometimes, but mostly he didn't. He was moving away from Alfred and the world, and his depressing mood was beginning to take over. So Alfred came up with the ultimate game for the boy that he was supposed to watch. He would hire members of his acting troupe to become supervillains. Penguin, Catwoman, Riddler, Scarecrow. And Alfred himself, he would take the role of the mastermind, the Joker. Everything was going perfectly. Bruce believed that they were villains and stopped them all of the time. Until the game was found out. Bruce found the Joker wig and the makeup, and he demanded to know what was going on. So Alfred told him, and he asked him to finally stop this now. The game is over. But Bruce told him regardless of it being a game, he needed to protect the city. That's when they got a report that the Riddler was holding children hostage in the zoo. Batman swooped in and he tried to tell the Riddler that it was over. He knew the truth. But the guy who was playing the Riddler had snapped, and he started to think that he was the Riddler, and he shot Batman in the face. Then Alfred walked out of the wake. Batman, as the ghostly voice, once again stepped in. That's ridiculous. Do you know how much of that story is impossible? Alfred couldn't be the Joker. I can see the Joker. He's sitting there. Am I dead? Not yet. Are you Death? I don't think Death is a person, Bruce. Then tell me who you are. Tell me what's going on. You're the world's greatest detective, Bruce. Why don't you figure it out? I'm attending my own funeral, and everyone is telling stories about me, but each of them tells a different story about my life and my death. And I'm not alone. There's a woman here that claims to not be Death and that I'm not dead, but I don't think I believe her. And with that, the funeral continues with everyone's stories. The Joker was sad because in the end, he never got Batman to smile. Dick Grayson explained that Batman finally died so he would carry on the name. Clayface told everyone that Batman died saving Clayface because, as Batman said, everyone's worth it. Harvey Bullock said that he died saving a small child. The stories continue until the ghostly form of Batman notices a door that wasn't there, but walking through it feels right. In it, the woman that he's been talking to is standing there, with a single light beaming on her. This is a near-death experience, isn't it? It's classic, it meets all the criteria. I feel serene and calm. My life is in a replay over and over, though it's never quite my life, is it? So I'm not dead. Not yet. But I'm close, aren't I? Yes, Bruce. I'm afraid so. You are very close. I know you, don't I? That's when she comes into focus, and Bruce sees that it's his mother that he's been talking to this whole time. What did you learn from your funeral, Bruce? You must have learned something. I've learned that it doesn't matter what the story is. Some things never change, because even when they aren't talking about me, they are. Because they're talking about Batman. The Batman doesn't compromise. I keep this city safe, even if it's safer by just one person, and I do not ever give in or give up. Sometimes I fall in battle, dying hugely, bravely saving the city, and sometimes it's a small, ironic, unnoticeable death, such as saving one child. But no matter what, I don't give up. That's right, Bruce. You don't. You fight until it's done, and then you die. You keep fighting because you have to, because you can't stop it from happening again, because no matter how many lives you save, you can't bring us back. Then Martha Wayne walks Bruce through the early years with his parents. They walk back to the alley on that night, where he watches it happen again. Okay, so this is my near-death experience. Am I gonna wake up on a riverbank or in a hospital bed? I don't believe so. Not this time. Are you ready to let go now? To move on? I don't believe in the afterlife. You don't get heaven or hell, Bruce. You get one reward for being Batman. You get to be Batman. Everything begins to fade away. The darkness envelops Bruce, and then he hears his mother's voice again, reading him a bedtime story. Good night, house. Good night, Batcave. Good night, mechanical dinosaur. Good night, giant penny. Good night, Batmobile. Good night, Alfred. Good night, Boy Wonder. Good night, and goodbye. Then the bat signal begins to change and it morphs. It begins to look like hands reaching out for him, and a baby cries as it's being born. They hand the baby to a woman, and she says, "Hello, Bruce." Like I said, this was a really weird one, but it's just one of those stories you have to hear. The story is called Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, and it's told as a story of what if Batman died, but he was being reborn for a new age. Personally, I really do enjoy this story, and if you want to talk about it, follow me on Twitter @ComicStorian or Instagram @ComicStorian. And I'll see you next time right here.